it's a good point to do a demonstration, a live demonstration on Business Source Complete. And the way to do that is, as usual, to go through your best friend, the subject guide, because it has all the live links. So what we do is we go back to the subject guide, we go to finding resources, to articles and databases. And from there, the top one that we can already see under Key Business Database is the Business Source Complete. So it's quite easy to find. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in the terms relating to our topic. Our topic is, does innovation in new technology improve social relations? So I'm going to replicate what we did in the PowerPoint in order to see what it's like when you get the live results. Okay, so in my first box, I'm going to put entrepreneur, an alternative term, innovation, to pick up some more results. And again, remembering that we're going to use the asterisks in order to truncate and get more word endings. So that's the first term in our search. The second one relates to new technology. So I'm going to put a few terms again in order to have a nice catchment of results. And I'm going to use phrase searches in order to catch these as phrases rather than separate words for each phrasal search. So I'm going to put in.
And can I just ask there, where you've got the word and, is that a Boolean, I don't know what the word is, factor, exactly. Whatever it is?
That's the Boolean operators that we were describing. So what's really good, that's a really good reminder, Keir. So what it is for each box, we have our set of terms, but the database recognizes that and it's defaulting to and. So it means that we're combining the terms and it's doing that for us instead of us having to put and in. So the only thing I'm needing to put in here is the or for related terms. It does all the ands for the key concepts, absolutely. So I'm going to put in new technology and again in inverted commas. I'm going to put or and I'm going to pick emergent technology because we found that that was quite a good one. And one final one, which is digital technology. Okay, and the third one, which is to do with the concept of social inclusion, I've put social inclusion. Let's see.
And just whilst you're doing that, if you just note what she's using here. So she's using the truncation, so it allows us to get more there. She's using or, she's using and. So all of these are the operators that we discussed in the other video. So yeah, just take note whilst you're watching.
And the final one I'm going to put in, the final word is empowerment. Okay, and what you notice as well here is that I'm doing the or in capitals. Now, I believe that even if you don't do it in capitals, the system will recognize that you're using the Boolean operators. But for me, it's a very handy thing to just be able to visualize how I'm connecting things. Okay, so let's have a go. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it can be quite unforgiving. If you misspell something or you do something in a slightly different way, you have to go back again if you haven't put the quotation marks in the right place and it gives you no results. This time I succeeded for once to actually get it right. So what's really good is we see that we have over 1,000 results, which is great. And the main thing to bear in mind is that if you want to borrow down and reduce your findings, then all you need to do is change the date range or pick your subject. And here it's really helpful. You can pick, say, digital technology and just pick that one. You can look for more subject terms, which will start loading now. For example, the creative ability in technology, developing countries, it's all really good stuff. So that's how you can do that as well, which is really handy. So as you'd imagine, you would get a lot of results because we have used quite a lot of related terms. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to start looking at case studies and at company reports. But instead of making it so vast that we'll get thousands of things, I'm going to change our search terms a little bit, and I'm actually going to focus on wearable technology. So I'm just going to change the search terms first, and then we'll do the search. And I also want to demonstrate how not to be put off if things don't always work according to plan, because this is very much the sort of thing that can potentially go wrong if we limit in a very limited way, and if we reduce our terms. So I'm going to literally get rid of what we have there.
And just whilst you're doing that, just wanted to say one of the things, I'm dyslexic, so database searching is not always the easiest thing. And, it's not always easy for people who can't necessarily spell, or you can miss some of these small things. Now, what we're showing you here is a way to engage with the databases. And what I really like about this is if I get one right and I get a really good set of search terms, I copy and paste them onto a piece of, into a kind of a text document. So it allows me to come back and know, okay, that works. I'm going to paste that in. If there's any computer scientists out there who do Linux or Unix, that ability to kind of do aliases and kind of shorten stuff. So that ability to go, okay, I know I'm going to use this command repeatedly. So I have it copied and pasted in, because again, often I will write these things in and I'll get a letter wrong. I'll get something misplaced. But that work you can save yourself that work if you kind of build a database of these kind of search terms and ways to search.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So we're getting there. Let's have a look. So what I'm doing now is I've decided to go for wearable technology. And because this is a very specific database for Business Force Complete for the subject areas of management and economics, what's really nice about it, it picks up on your search terms, because those are indexed and they're key terms that are used in the database. So I was going to write in wearable technology, but it's already anticipating that. It's giving me wearable technology or wearable devices or wearable sensors. That's brilliant. That's a really good sign that this database is very specific. So I click on that. It saves you typing or, etc. And the final term I'm going to put in is social inclusion, and I'm going to put that in brackets.
So also here, you're getting hints from other people and the database itself at what you might want to look at. So it's helping form that. It's really useful. And like you said, it's always a nice sign when a kind of a search term that's better than yours comes up and you go, oh, that's what I wanted to look for. It's a really good sign.
Absolutely. And you know you're on the right track. Now, let's see what happens. So it all seems like we've got it reasonably okay. Let's see what we come up with. And this is what I wanted to demonstrate. This happens a lot with databases. It's not an exact science. I've come up with 0. We thought this seemed like a really good way of coming up with results. However, not to worry, this is what happens quite a lot. So this is where you need to start thinking, how can I add more terms in order to make my result more effective? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep entrepreneurial innovation, the wearable technology, because we know that works. And I'm going to try putting in, instead of social inclusion only on its own, I'm going to try participation or engagement and see what happens. Or similar terms. Okay. And again, no terms. This is not surprising. This happens quite a lot. So don't be concerned about that. So all we need to do now is think of some related terms. So.
And again, what's useful here is it also helps you to start refining what you're looking for, right? So the fact that nothing's coming up doesn't mean there's nothing that exists in the world around that, but it helps you to go, okay, so what do we mean here? Maybe it's the wearable technology part, maybe it's the entrepreneur part, maybe that just doesn't come up in those kind of papers, right, that word. So again, this is the process we go through. The database isn't giving you answers, it's giving you leads. That's how I always.
Exactly.
And then references or leads.
That's exactly what it is, because it's obvious to me now that something's wrong here. So social inclusion, which we thought was a reasonable term, which is in the topic, we're going to forget about it. So I started putting in participation, and straight away it gives me participation or engagement or involvement. What happens with this? Because it's not an exact science. So don't be put off. This happens to all of us. So here we are. Straight away, we have finally come up with 15 results, which is a lot better. And what's really nice about these results, there are not that many, but they're really interesting. One of them clearly relates to the delivery of care. So it's to do with the medical profession. The other one is about smart fabric sensors. So we're already discovering a certain type of technology that we may not have known about. Yes.
Just notice at the bottom that it says subjects. So you've got like new product development. Sorry, no, I meant under each of the examples. So where just above where it says PDF text, there's technology and innovation, management, American college. So some of those are kind of keywords, right? So again, if you've started to look and you go, oh, there's one on medical wearables, didn't know it existed. Look under that and go, okay, so what are kind of keywords or things that I might use? So wearable technology seems useful. Electro textiles might be useful. That's the area you're interested in. Again, leads, right? The places to go to, and the citations is a whole other kind of, set. Sorry.
No, that's absolutely the point. So at this point, it's exactly what Keir has described. Look at the titles and look at the subject terms. And that's where you'll find alternatives for sure. For example, let's see if we can find anything here. As Keir was saying, new product development, which was something we hadn't looked for.
Yeah, and that could be instead of innovation, right? In our case, maybe that might come up more, specifically if we want to look at products, obviously, as well. So
absolutely. So you're already coming up with good results, and even the titles give you some sense of the debates going on in the area. So the question is social inclusion is a result? Does it make things better? However, we have one article on wearable surveillance, which clearly indicates that there might be moral and ethical issues surrounding how you survey people in the workplace. Whereas you may have others which are much more positive. Can innovation save the world? But again, that's a debate. And remember here that in Business Source Complete, we have academic journals, but we also have trade journals and magazines. So you might want to limit it to either one or the other category, but in the beginning, it's good to have all. And also when we have the full text, it gives you the link to the full text, which means you don't need to go back to library search. If there's something that's really, really useful and we don't have it, and you go through the Get It button and we don't have it, then you can ask for an interlibrary loan if it's absolutely key to your research. Now, I'm going to do one final thing before we look for cases and for company reports. 15 is not a brilliant number of results. I mean, potentially we may be able to add more. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to add a term to the wearable technology, and I'm going to add digital technology. So what I do is I go to the end of my terms for these areas, the ones that were anticipated by the machine learning, and I add my term, I add or digital technology. And let's see if we can come up with more or not. Let's see what the results are going to bring us. Okay, as anticipated, we have a lot more results, about 300. And what's the lesson that I learned from this? Use your judgment as well as what it prompts you to do, because we are human and we use our mind in different ways from that. And that gives us a lot more cases. So now let's consider, once we have quite a lot of results there, especially for wearable technology, wearable devices, we have found something really useful. So let's start looking for case studies.